Hey guys, Jeremy here from the Weekly Narrative. Thanks for checking out my San Francisco Keep Our Families Together March video. Before the video starts, I just want to let you know there's going to be some small white noise issues, small things throughout the video. You'll notice I actually had some technical difficulties with this one. I had about an hour and a half's worth of footage. I was only able to salvage the 20 minutes that you're going to see here. So keep that in mind. Yes, I'm aware there's some small audio stuff going on. Other than that, enjoy the video. As always, follow me on Twitter if you want to know when I go live here on YouTube. Also, if you want to support me and help make getting sunburns and talking to these people worth it, donate to me on Patreon, patreon.com/weeklynarrative. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
No human being is considered illegal.
Jeremy here from the Weekly Narrative. We're at downtown San Francisco at the Keep Our Families Together March. We're going to talk to some people and see what the big deal is and what we want to do. Let's go. Okay, so we got a sign here that says abolish ICE. It's very windy out here today, so the sign's having a little hard time staying up. Could you tell us why do we want to abolish ICE?
Well, as you know, if you see from the social media and all videos that we see, the reports that we see, there's a distinction between enforcing the law and abusing the law. So we watched the news, and then we heard the reports where ICE some maybe enforcing the law, but some others they go beyond the law. Like,
do you have any examples of that?
Yes, turning away asylum seekers. According to international law, they have to appreciate, they have to know the international law where the seeking asylum is not illegal in United States. And then we see that the ICE officers also entering the ICE asylum office here, and then basically pick up the immigrants after a green card interview. And then we see many others examples where ICE they just go they enforce the law, but some others they don't enforce the law. Like, they just go beyond the law. They have their own law, and then we have to get them accountable for what they're doing. We are the countries, we're not above the law. Everybody's not above the law. So, and then if you notice, also the last reports that they wanna basically they wanna delete their abusive practice towards immigrants. If you don't notice this, then you're not paying attention.
So what is ICE exactly, and what functions does it perform?
Right, ICE is, of course, is immigration and custom enforcement. So if we demand the abolish of ICE, so basically we just they have a culture of abusing immigrants already. We see all over and over again their records in the news, and then we want to be held, them accountable for what they're doing, and let's just move on with something else. That institution that enforcing the law, not abusing immigrants.
So ICE performs a few other functions aside from immigration. It actually combats child trafficking a lot, which is one of the main reasons why children were originally separated. It also enforces drug trafficking laws. Do you want to get rid of those functions as well, or are we focusing specifically on the immigration part?
Well, trafficking and all of that is all, of course, as part of the immigration coming out and in of the country. Of course, whatever people, all the lawmakers are talking about it right now. So I don't want to come into specific, but we know for a fact that what ICE doing right now has been doing, especially under Trump, is just abusing immigrants. We have to put a stop on that one.
All right, we got a sign that says holding families hostage is terrorism with Sessions and Trump on there, as well as kidnappers in the White House.
with horns, devil horns. Evict them. All right, ladies, what's the message?
I want to send a message to Donald Trump and say, boo! Donald Trump, what you're doing to immigrants is wrong. My grandmother came from Spain and she was an immigrant. I have people who are immigrants, and what you're doing is terrible. So what you're doing is a shame. I want to say, si se puede, yes we can, and I am with all the children in the world. So here's to the kids in the world. We can do this. San Francisco's behind you. God bless you.
All right, I got a question for you. We're going to have a little discussion, okay? It's going to go back and forth a little bit. Because I got to be objective. I'm a journalist. I have to actually try. What exactly do we want Trump to stop doing?
We want Trump to stop taking kids, los niños, away from La Familia. Their madres y padre, because it's wrong. It is not right. We don't need another World War II. We don't need concentration camps. We've suffered enough.
I think everyone agrees that kids in cages is a bad thing, right? Now, Trump did go back on that policy. The kids are no longer being separated, but they're still being held in cages with their families. Is that enough, or do we need more?
I don't think the separation actually went through. In fact, today I heard that there were some additional, like he went back on what he said about the separation. I don't know the details, but there's nothing that he's done so far that would lead us to trust any of his actions. And I don't think that that by separating the families, it's a moneymaker for the detention centers. I'm not sure how much they get paid every day. We already know that the man who runs Southwest Keys Detention Center makes a salary of $1.5 million.
Who is that?
It's the man who runs the detention centers called Southwest Keys. And so he's under investigation through Social Security why a not-for-profit would make that much money. And these people, many of them are seeking asylum. So it's not illegal to seek asylum, and they're turning themselves in. So this is an awful way of deterring other people from coming in. And the due process is taking too long. It is entirely unfair. I'm in the clinical field, and I think it's abuse.
There's a lot of signs around here that say like abolish ICE, get rid of ICE, ban ICE. What do you think about that? Is ICE have a function in society? They do some other things aside from just immigration. It is customs enforcement as well. So one of the main reasons why those children were separated is because they're trying to figure out if those children were being trafficked or not. Because they don't know if those are the actual parents. They have no documentation. They have to do like DNA tests and things.
One of the things that's happening is that they are taking those children away. They can't account for where those children are. And so who's to say that from the detention center they're not going under a different guise, which could be real sex traffickers. So I don't think we know that. And I don't know enough about to say abolish ICE, but I do feel I know enough to say what is happening today is not right.
I think, I agree. I think, separating families is definitely not a good thing. There's a better way to do it. I'm just questioning where we can get the resources to do it the right way. Because Trump signing an executive order doesn't necessarily make it magically happen. We still have to figure out where to house the families. The families are just, essentially, they're still in cages. They're just in cages together,
Well, I'm not sure they're all in cages because there were a number of children that were in Oregon by themselves. And when the attorneys tried to go there to interview them, they were denied access. And so a judge overruled that and allowed them in. We don't know where all of these children are. So I don't think they're united. The last I heard, it was 553 out of 2,300 families that were united. So that's not enough.
You bring up a good point. Now, a lot of these kids come across the border without any parents at all. What should we do with those?
I think that's a different situation. I think that we need to have caseworkers and they need legal representation. I heard children as young as 8 years old without an identified family member were going to the courts representing themselves. It's unbelievable to me. I don't know what the answer is for those children, but I think they need to be assigned caseworkers and lawyers to see what is best for the child.
hopefully we can find the answer through rational civil discussion like I'm trying to do here. Do you think the media plays a part in squelching discussion and just kind of selling fear and selling panic and selling anger? Is that really productive? You know, what really draws people out here? Is that really productive, do you think?
I have mixed feelings about that because I do believe the media is certain entities are managed by corporate sponsors and they have their own agenda. So I tend to look at alternative news, but I do my own research. And so I look actually on both sides and then I form my own opinion.
One of the things I was really confused on is this event. It's funded by MoveOn, which is a big, billionaire class organization. All those signs that you see are printed by him. It's not exactly grassroots movement. So a lot of these people are out here talking against billionaires without knowing that this event was organized by billionaires. It's a little ironic, Well,
I don't know what to say about that. I'm coming out here on my own. I'm not giving them any money. I am not a supporter.
You're not getting paid?
No.
Soros isn't paying you?
I'm actually not a supporter of Soros, so I.
That's great. You're a perfect example of nuance. It's okay to be for or against certain issues, but I think the problem comes when people start to blindly follow certain ideologies.
I totally agree. I'll tell you what I think is really exciting is Alicia Ocasio-Cortez.
She's making a lot of waves in the news.
A lot of waves, and she took absolutely no money. So that's the ideal I follow.
Awesome. Well, anything else you ladies like to say?
I'd like to say about the kids, well, you mentioned something about the children not knowing if they have any documentation. I really think that we shouldn't kick the kids out because as the folks were chanting earlier that they didn't cross the border crossed them. So therefore, there's no right to kick them out because this beautiful country of America was built on immigrants. So shame on Donald Trump once again to kick them out.
Well, there's an important distinction to make there. Now, what you said is true, but it was formed on a legal system of immigration.
I want to end with this. I am not a pro-Donald Trump person, so no hatred to those who voted for him, but I am standing on behalf of all immigrants today, and I'm here to support them.
All right, people. I've spotted the organizers for the Resist, the revolutionary communists. I'm going to go over there and talk to them, see what's going on. Is that all it takes to be alt-right these days?
Well, no, but practically,
okay.
Are you a Trump supporter?
At least I got you to admit that. Not really. I'm actually a libertarian.
Okay, man. I don't really want to do an interview with a right-wing news.
Libertarians, right-wing?
Well, it depends what kind of libertarian, man. There's all these people calling themselves libertarian
who are... Why wouldn't you want to talk with someone who's on the other side, though? You're just going to preach to the choir all day? Is that your plan?
No, man, because if you have any familiarity with these right-wing YouTube channels and...
Those right-wing YouTube channels are like the minority, all right? There's actually people out there that are trying to have an actual discussion.
Can you show me your channel?
Absolutely.
Can I look at
what...
This is you?
Yep. So I go to right-wing protests. I go to women's marches. I go to any protest I can. That's the one. That's the first one I did there.
Man, honestly, 473,000 views.
Yeah.
See, man, the fact that you call people protesting against Ben Shapiro SJWs, which is sort of a derogatory term
for you guys. But
social, it's meant to ridicule them.
They call themselves that, though.
Okay, you're probably filming me right now, so it's
the camera's
okay.
always on, but I'll point it this way.
Okay,
if I turn it off, can we have a discussion?
We're done.
And what's the general message that you're, trying to say out here today?
My general message is to keep families united, as everybody's been stating, and find better ways to fix what's going on. The government needs to take other avenues than to try to separate families and mistreat children.
So Trump recently signed the executive order. Do you think that's enough? We're not separating the families anymore. We still have a bunch of children we have to find, but we're not separating the families anymore. Kind of back to the Obama era policy as far as, storing them in the cages, quote unquote, together. Now, Do you think that's enough, or what more do we need to know?
No, it's still not enough because the executive order only applies to families from here on out. What about the other thousands of families, 200, at least that we know of, that are missing, the children? It doesn't apply to those families. So no, we need to definitely do a lot more. Actually, the government needs to do a lot more and figure out different policies, other avenues.
And what are we suggesting as far as actions? What should we do to fix that problem?
Us as people will continue to voice our opinions, voice our needs, continue to go to government, legislatures, sign different, I can't even think right now, different ways to protest.
Sounds like we got to figure it out still, is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yes. Basically, yeah, we still do, and it's not going to be solved overnight, maybe not even this year, but I feel like we still need to continue to fight regardless and not give up and feel, okay, well, Trump's already signed something, so let's just, go along with it. No, I think there's, again, still a lot more to be done, a lot more legislature and different things that need to be added to what he signed. That's just a quick fix.
Yeah, I agree. Now, there's a lot of signs going around today that say, like, abolish ICE, ban ICE. What's your opinion on that?
I agree as well. I can see the legal perspective from the point of view of law enforcement, but the way that ICE presents itself as a monster. It really isn't taking, at least I feel, into consideration human rights. I think we're giving people to put on this uniform and they feel like they can do more than they're actually by law allowed to do.
So one of the problems is that ICE actually performs a lot more functions than just immigration. It's immigration and customs enforcement. So they're also handling a lot of child trafficking, which is one of the main reasons why the children were separated in the first place. And they're also handling drug trafficking. If we get rid of ICE, we're also seeing the lack of enforcement in child trafficking and drug trafficking. Do you think that's a real solution, or is it just kind of like overly emotional people making kind of snap judgments?
No, I do think it's a real solution because, yes, ICE, we're saying that it does different function than just focuses on immigration, but really, people really need to dig down deep and where did these children go missing? Come on, a lot of them are being sold.
Exactly. There's a lot of child trafficking going on.
Yeah, but I don't think ICE is actually doing their job. Child trafficking has been going on forever. So
we're just going to kind of let it happen then, or?
No, of course not let it happen. But again, ICE changed the face of ICE. Educate, train, take a different perspective to, different approach to ICE. So yes, abolish ICE, but then create something different.
How about we create NICE with an N in the front?
Yeah, nice. What would the N stand for?
National.
National, okay.
It works perfectly. And then you can't say abolish NICE because, then you're a bad person, right?
Correct, yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, just other than, please everybody continue to write their congressmen, vote, protest, do rallies, support anybody and everybody. That's it.
Good, appreciate it.
Sisters only want basic
What do you think about what's going on out here?
They are not threats. Kinda Darwish, who's the regional director for our organization, is Syrian, and she's
about
not
power and
a
money?
security threat.
Yep.
Who's trying to get power and money?
The Yemeni college students who are in my neighborhood are not security threats.
If
the
they
Somali
create
mother
enough
of
of a
three in my neighborhood
disturbance
is not a
with a
security
certain
threat.
element
Hate is a security
people
threat.
on the border, it's going to help
White
them elect
supremacy
the
is a
officials
security
that they
threat.
need. Because it's going to cost
ICE and the
more the way they're
separation of
doing it
families are
than
security
talking about
threats.
how it's costing too much to do it the old way.
They are threats that continue
See,
to
so they
dehumanize
already
our
know that
people.
that's going to
And
create
so I
a big
ask you
problem.
today,
So
as
why
marginalized
would you
impacted
create such
people,
a big
don't be
problem
ever apologetic
knowing you already
about
have
who
a
you are.
problem?
Always
Unless
be
you wanted
unapologetically
a problem.
you.
So
Muslims,
it's a ploy to get certain people
LGBTQ
elected and into power?
Black
I
folks.
see that.
We all
I
continue
see
to show
that
up for
it's
each other.
part that and it's
folks
part
who are new to this
somebody
movement,
throwing
keep
a fit
showing up,
about a
because we
situation
will
instead of
win
coming
when
up
we
with the
stand
solution, they
together.
come up with
Thank
more
you.
of a problem.
which creates a different kind of reaction. I don't think it should be ran that way.
Hello, how's it? That's where we need to start showing civil disobedience.
And now this is the most intriguing sign over here. It says GOP Nazis eat shit. What exactly, aside from Nazis, is the message you're trying to send here?
I'm trying to say that GOP members and the alt-right are shit eaters.
That is very straightforward. Now, there's a lot of confusion going on about what exactly is the alt-right, because I've called people who just support Trump alt-right. You know, the definition kind of bounces around. What exactly is alt-right?
That's a tough question, and it's really complicated.
Exactly. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to figure part. That's one of the things I'm trying to figure out. Is it now the traditional definition, as I know it, is somebody who supports the idea of European national identitarianism.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's one big part of it.
So do you think there's a lot of those out there? Because there's, you know, outside of that Charlottesville protest, you know, where there was maybe 100 or 200 of those.
Probably like 10% of the country.
10% that want a European ethno-state?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very high. You think that makes up a lot of the administration?
Less so. I think it's more amongst the people. I think the administration is more interested in making money than anything else.
Children's shelter, children's center, it's like sending them in concentration camp, like it did the Japanese thing. You don't do that to children. That's not fair. What he's doing, he's creating a crisis on two fronts. One, a cross-Atlantic crisis, because he's picking on Europe. He want to increase the sanctions on Europe. And another crisis he's creating is a hemispheric crisis with the immigrants at the Mexican border. This is worrisome. This is really scary. This is really horrifying. And I'm worried about this because we never know what this might lead to. The Europeans are supposed to be our friends, our good buddies, our allies. And why is he picking on them? It's not like picking on people in the Middle East or in Africa or Asia or other part of the world. He's picking on the wrong people.
It sounds like a lot of what you're saying sounds like we should be afraid. A lot of fear going around, you know.
That's what it is. What it is, he's dividing families not only in this country, he's dividing families around the world. It kind of reminds me of, it's the beginning of not only a nationwide ethnic cleansing, it's a worldwide ethnic cleansing. It's in the making, and that's worrisome.
So you're using words like ethnic cleansing and concentration camps. Do you think maybe it's a little hyperbolic, a little much? You think maybe we could approach it from a more rational perspective?
It's a way that the people can stand up. We have to stop this, because if we don't stop it, he's going to.
So we need to use those scary words to make people come out here and hold signs? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, not to say to frighten people, but make people be more aware, because a lot of people in this country is not aware of what's really going on. You see, I'm a very politically inclined person. I'm not a college graduate, but I went to college for...
That means you're educated.
Yeah, I may not know everything in the world, but I know a lot. I studied political science and political geography, and I know what's going on.
So, do you think this is the right way to do it, though, by selling it with fear? I mean, you know, can't we just have rational discussions about it and think it out and talk it out instead of selling it based on fear? Because I'm hearing a lot of fear today.
But, well, fear, it's not everything. You got to be strong against it. We have to stand up against it.
What's the secret to a good dog here?
Yeah, hot dogs. No, show English.
How do you make them so good?
Yeah, the hot dogs at the back end.